Hi, back again for another week. Wanted to start this week off again on a solemn note. It seems like every other week there's somebody, you know, passing away. And this week last week, it was Batman. Batman passed away. Here we go. Kevin Conroy, longtime voice of Batman, dies at 66. The voice actor played the Dark Knight for 30 years, beginning with Batman the Animated Series. So that's most of my life. This man has been basically every animated Batman I have ever known has been Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy, the prolific voice actor who defined Batman for generations of audiences, died Thursday in New York after a short battle with cancer. Warner Brothers announced he was 66. Conroy voice starred in the acclaimed Batman the Animated Series from 1992 to 96 and continued with the role through nearly 60 different productions, spanning 15 films and 400 episodes of television as well as video games. In recent years, he was a fixture on the comic convention circuit. Kevin was far more than an actor whom I had the pleasure of casting and directing. He was a dear friend for 30 plus years whose kindness and generous spirit knew no boundaries, said casting and dialogue director Andrea Romano. Kevin's warm heart, delightfully deep laugh, and pure love of life will be with me forever. Mark Hamill, who played Conroy's on-screen foil, the Joker, mourned his collaborator in a statement. Kevin was perfection, he said. He was one of my favorite people on the planet, and I loved him like a brother. He truly cared for the people around him. His decency shone through everything he did. Every time I saw him or spoke with him, my spirits were elevated. So, though Conroy worked often in animation, he stepped into the live-action DC universe in 2019 to play Bruce Wayne on the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover story. He most recently voiced Batman in video game multiverses. So that was kind of an awesome moment, Crisis on Infinite Earths, because they brought in so many different people who had ever, it was like almost anybody who had ever appeared in the DC universe, whether it was TV or in the movies, was on Crisis on Infinite Earths. And when they brought him in to play Batman, it was like finally he got to play him, live action. It was a very, iconic moment. And here we are, a couple of years later. Over the decades, multiple actors have put their stamps on Batman's voice, with Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, and Ben Affleck in particular getting both praise and parody for their live-action takes. For Conroy, finding the voice was both a challenge and a choice that defined his legacy. Early on, I said, "This is the most famous and powerful guy in Gotham. Are you telling me he just puts on a mask and no one knows it's him? Seriously? There's got to be more to this disguise," Conroy told THR in 2017. My template for the two voices was the 1930s film The Scarlet Pimpernel. I played Bruce Wayne as sort of a humorous playboy to counteract the brooding nature of Batman. Among the crowning moments of his career as Batman was the 1993 animated feature Mask of the Phantasm, which he counted as his favorite. It dealt with Wayne's unresolved feelings towards his late parents, something Conroy would later say he could relate to given his own tumultuous relationship with his father. Andrea came in after the recording and grabbed me in a hug. Conroy told THR in 2018 of voicing a particularly wrenching scene. Conroy is survived by his husband, Vaughn C. Williams, sister Tricia Conroy, and brother Tom Conroy. Oh, so yeah. He's basically he was the voice of Batman from basically all the animated Batmans was Kevin Conroy. Yeah, pretty much every animated Batman I know is Kevin Conroy. So yeah, it was very sad when I saw that. So, okay. Yeah, so moving on real quick, NaNoWriMo, which again is National Novel Writing Month. Still working on my book. I am up to, I'm up to chapter 6. So I've revised this much of the book. Still working on it. We've got 2 whole weeks left. I have wanted to have so much more done, but I'm going to be proud that I've gotten this much done. Because I have a whole other book that I need to revise, but I've gotten this much done. So I'm going to be proud that I've gotten this much work done. And so that's the work that I'm writing on. That's my fantasy series, Legacy of the Lost. So I'm trying to get through that so I can get to A Tale Through Time and get those out. I want to try to get these out as soon as possible. So working on that. Yes, I am writing too. I have a fantasy series that's out on Amazon called The Fairy Princess Enter into Fenton. It's about this little Black girl from the south side of Chicago who discovers she's a fairy princess. And she has to learn how to use her powers while she's on her way to rescue her fairy godmother from an evil fairy. So that's the first novel in the series. And this is the second novel in the series. I'm writing the second and the third novels back to back. And so I can because it's been so long. The first book came out in 2018. And it's been so long since those books came out. I want to try to get the next two books out back to back. So I'm trying to write those out, get those out quickly as possible. And also, okay, next thing. Okay, so normally I talk about SWAT. SWAT is on hiatus, and the Equalizer has been on hiatus. It's like they switched up. The Equalizer came back, and SWAT. So SWAT was on, the Equalizer was on hiatus, and SWAT went on hiatus, and the Equalizer came back. And the Equalizer was this interesting episode because, Queen Latifah's daughter, Queen Latifah's character used to be in the CIA. So she's this sort of badass character who can fight, do all these different things. And her daughter wants her to train her. So she asked Queen Latifah to train her to fight and do all the things that she could do. The girl is like, I don't know, 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. And Queen Latifah was like, nah. So, so she goes behind Queen Latifah's back and goes to Queen Latifah's friend and then asks her, hey, can you train me? And she's like, no, I'm not going to go behind your mother back and train you. And so so then a little girl emotionally blackmails her and goes, okay, I respect your decision, but if you don't do it, I'm going to find somebody who will. And then that gets into this woman's head. And she's like, oh, well, if I don't do it, she's going to find somebody who's going to train her. And who knows how this person is going to do it. She's going to be trained wrong. And I'd rather do it than have somebody else who, you know, do it the wrong way. And blah, 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 blah. So then she agrees to train her. And she's like, you know, first, she's like, I'll do it on 2 conditions. First, you have to do everything that I say. And second, we're going to have to eventually tell your mother. But when we do, we have to tell it it's my idea because I don't want her to get mad at you. But whatever. Heifer deserves to get upset. Oh, okay. Yeah. It took a while to write that story. Yes, and it was a very interesting story. I like writing it, and I like when little kids discover it and in watching their reactions to it has been very interesting because it's a young adult novel, so it's supposed to be for kids from like 9 to 13, but of course, you know, adults can read it too. So, but it's been interesting. It's been interesting listening to people's opinions of it. So, but yeah, so that's, and then of course, so that was with Equalizer, that was the B story. The A story, of course, was Queen Latifah having to do a favor for the CIA, escort this prisoner to be to escort this prisoner so they can be interrogated by this special person in the CIA that everybody thinks, you know, he's almost like a ghost. Nobody's ever seen him before. Nobody, you know, but he's somebody that everybody's heard of. And while they're doing this, they realize, oh, there's a mole in the CIA, and somebody on their team has been leading the bad guys to them, and they're, you know, they keep getting caught. Like the bad guys keep finding them wherever they are. So like people keep just getting shot on the team until finally there's nobody left but Queen Latifah and 2 people. And so she's like, okay, one of y'all are the mole. So one of y'all needs to tell me who you are. I'm shooting both of you. So she was like, okay, show me your arms. And so you know, the one guy, the prisoner, shows her the arms. He didn't see anybody. Then it was the CIA guy, and he pulled the okie doke. He showed her one arm, and there was nothing. Didn't show her the other arm. When he finally put up the other arm, you could see there was a subcutaneous tracker under his arm. He was the mole all along. And then you find out he had been a mole for the past 4-5 episodes. Everything that's been going wrong for the last 4 or 5 episodes has been him. He has been behind everything that's been going wrong for the last 4 or 5 episodes. So, and I all along, I knew he's always been suspicious to me, but like they never brought it up So I'm like, are we not supposed to suspect him? Because he's suspicious. He's suspect to me. But they kept glossing over it, glossing over it. So I was like, okay, maybe he's not. Maybe we supposed to, you know, trust him. But I still didn't really all the way trust him. And I guess I was right. All along, he was not trustworthy. So it turns out that the person who she was, the prisoner, wasn't a prisoner. He was the guy who was supposed to be the ghost, the guy who they were supposed to be taking a prisoner to. That's who he was. That guy all along. He had set up this whole operation just to smoke out the mole. And she was like, "Dude, you got all these people killed just to find them all." He was like, "Well, they were guilty of something." He just killed people, and it was like they was guilty of something else. He didn't care, and so now he wants to put Queen Latifah under his thumb and back into the CIA for some mess or whatnot or whatever. But that's not gonna last for long. But I guess they have him taking the place of her old guy Bishop, who got blown up because Chris Noth got Me Too'd off the show. So so now they needed somebody else to take his place. So here's this guy. But so bam. So that was that show, The Equalizer, which according to when I was looking on Twitter, The Equalizer was like supposedly one of the top shows amongst Black homes, apparently. Like Black people, like there was an article on Twitter, I should have saved it, but like amongst Black people, Equalizer is one of the more popular shows. I was like, oh, super popular amongst Black people. Who would have thunk? Well, I mean, it's Queen Latifah, so. Okay. Next. What else do I have here? Oh, Andor. Prison Break. Okay. So, this was the Prison Break episode, the one that I was not supposed to fast forward through. I was sorely tempted to fast forward through it. I really wanted to fast forward through that Prison Break because there was just parts, especially when you got to the part where there was just lots of parts that I wanted to forward through. I did not scene skip. I did not scene skip. I really wanted to, especially when they started when they started at the beginning and he went and he was messing with the pipes to make the water spray everywhere. That part that's where I was like, okay, now would be a great time to start forwarding through the scene. But I was like, okay, I said I wasn't gonna forward, so I did not forward. I watched it all the way through, and I watched them. It was a good little episode. Good little scenes. They went through and they like a couple of them died in the fight, but then eventually, man, that Cassian, he is an MF. He got up there, he crawled up to the top, got that little blaster and just started blasting away. He was the man. They would not have been able to pull this off without Cassian. First of all, they wouldn't have had the idea without Cassian. They would not have had the strategy without Cassian. And they would not have had to follow through without him. They did this whole prison break happened because of Cassian. Period. And they went through, and it was just so funny, them going through to the different shifts and saying, hey, fight your way out. It was so hilarious. It was so hilarious. Yes, it was anxiety. It was anxiety laced. It was filled with anxiety. I feel like every part had anxiety. Yes, because from the beginning, waiting for it to start was just filled with anxiety. When they got to the area, the area where, I guess, the control room, and where they were gonna turn off all the floors, and then he put Gollum on the mic, and Gollum took forever in the day to start talking. I'm like, come on, Gollum. I'm like, this is another time I wanted to start forwarding, because it took him forever to start talking. Oh my God. It was just forever. It took forever for him to start talking. That was another thing. And then, but eventually, and then it took them forever for everybody else to get in. But once he got through his little speech and got everybody up in arms, and they started their one way out. It was fun. Once they started their whole one way out chant. Oh my goodness. When Gollum said, I can't swim, I was like, serious? I was like, dude, just start kicking your feet this far. You better kick your feet until you learn how to swim. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is jump into the water, kick your feet until you're up into the surface, and just kick until you kick and you flail your arms. You kick and you flail. You kick and you flail. Oh my goodness. Kick and you flail. I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I was on the edge of my seat. I couldn't relax. I couldn't. This was not a relaxing show. I was sat up on the edge of my seat and was like, I really need this to be over. Oh, that was hilarious. It was like, shut up. Those guards was just like, because they knew they were outnumbered. I think he said there was like 4,000 or 5,000 of them, and there were only 12 guards on each floor, and there was like 8 floors for 5,000 people. That's not even 100 guards. Is there 100 guards? That's not 200 guards. It's whatever. That's not that many guards. I can't do math right now. It's not that many guards. It's not that many guards. So it's not that many guards. Yo, I can't swim either, which is kind of horrible because I had 2 years of swimming in high school. But Look, the filter in my pool kept breaking down, and we only had 5 weeks of swimming. So, you know, the first time, like in you had to learn how to swim in 5 weeks. And the first year, that filter was broken for all of those 5 weeks except for 3 days. And in the second year, the filter was broken for all of those 5 weeks except for 2 weeks. And that second year, I was not about to learn how to swim because my teacher would come in with coffee and bloodshot red eyes. And I'm like, there was something special in his coffee. And I know that he would see double of me, if you catch my drift. Like, and since my teacher was a male, he couldn't get into the water with us. All he had, if we started drowning, was a hook. So if I would start drowning and he had that hook and he's seeing double, I'm like, how would you know which one of me to save? I'm not about to put my life at risk with your bloodshot red eyes at 8 o'clock in the morning and your special coffee, probably with Irish cream in it. No. So I didn't learn how to swim either. But if my choice was jail or figuring it out, I would have figured it out. We gonna figure it out. Ah, so it's 12 episodes. Okay, so there's 2 more episodes left. Okay. Okay, that's good because 4 would have been after this 4 would have been a bit much, especially what was going on with Mon Mothma and that dude wanting to set up his son with her daughter, and just like, that's just a bit too creepy. And 4 episodes was just way too much time for that to come back around. Although that still can come back around in 2 episodes. I hope it don't. That's the truth. The Empire is too comfortable. Yeah. It was so cringe. It was so cringe. She was like, first of all, she wasn't happy in her own marriage. And even though, she probably don't even like her own daughter, because I know I wouldn't if I was her. She still probably wouldn't want that she probably wouldn't want that type of marriage, period, for her daughter, let alone have her daughter marry a loan shark son. No, thank you. No. And just no. Just everything about that was no. No. That was no. But yeah, the empire had become too comfortable, which allowed for the rebellion to rise up, I guess. Especially they had a lot of people on the inside of the empire, working against them. You had Mon Mothma. It is so hard to say her name. She's like a senator or whatnot. And then you have Homeboy working at the ISB, which is like the CIA of the empire. It's like these people working in high positions, and they have no clue, none. Oh, yes. How you want your daughter in exchange for banking. Basically, you want to sell off, you want her to sell her daughter. Ugh. Yeah. Her daughter is, yeah, her daughter's definitely easily influenced because she's easily influenced by her father, and her father ain't no good. So she would definitely gravitate towards somebody who ain't shit. So I can just see her gravitating towards that loan shark son. Somebody, well, I'm just trying to figure out how Cassian gonna get off this planet, because he's on the prison planet. And um he's on the prison planet, and um and he's in this prison uniform, and his money is on a completely different planet. And how is he going to get new clothes and get on a ship and get the hell out of there? This is what I'm thinking. This is all that's going through my mind. And like, he can't go back to Ferrex or whatever that was, because they're going to be looking for him there, because the empire's looking for him. B, that girl is looking for him. They want to kill him. Like, everybody wants to kill him. It's like, he's the most wanted man in the universe. For what? For nothing. There's just like, okay, he should not be the most wanted man in the universe. Okay, the Empire should want him for stealing all that money, but they don't know that he stole all that money. They think he killed 2 lower level guards. But the Empire should not care that he killed those 2 lower level guards. It's like, those weren't even their guards. They were subcontractors. I forgot all about Bricks. I forgot all about Bricks. She needs to be saved. But who's gonna save her? Who is left to save her? He had it hid well. That's it. That is if she found it, because he had it hid well. I could see the people in the hotel finding that money before she found it. But see, they don't know he stole, and he stole 80 million credits. Was it? Yeah, he stole 80 million credits, but they didn't know. They don't know that. They don't know who stole that money. They have no idea who stole that money. They still don't know who stole that money. All they know is that he killed those lower level guards, and that he got away with it. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. He should not count. They should not be expending they should not be expending so much resources on him. They're spending way too many resources looking for Cassian Andor. it just, I can't see anybody thinking that he will be worth the money to look for. Did they connect Cassian to Axis? I think I was barely listening when when they started talking about Axis, because I know Axis is it's what's his face? I can't remember his name on the show, but they're calling him Axis. But I guess maybe they connected Cassian to Axis. On the one hand, he did him dirty, but on the other hand, he was like, well, 50 people gonna die to save your life. He was like, because the fact of the matter is, if those people don't die, the Empire is gonna come after him. So you might as well stay. You might as well stay and get some more information. Especially because if he leaves right at, it'll be too suspicious if he left right now. If he left right now, I think it would be too suspicious. I think it would be very suspicious. So I think that's all that happened, because like a big chunk of the episode was the prison break. You had her meeting with that loan shark. You had him meeting with the the mole. Had the girl on back on his home planet, checking out what's going on with his mama. But I can't remember anything else happening. So yes, I did not scene skip. I did not forward, even though I really, 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 really wanted to, because that prison break was anxiety inducing. So we will see what happens to Cassian next week. And yeah, see you next week.